thing. You have to come and take responsibility for everybody. But if I'm making, ain't no separation in no community. And if you living like that exists now, then you really preparing for some BS. Because you ain't gonna know what happened. You ain't gonna know till something happened how much of an illusion that was. My wife and your wife, and that's some bullshit. You protect my wife like it's your wife. Do you understand what I'm saying? You secure my wife like it's your wife. You secure my children like it's your children. Do the same. I'll do the same for you. You feel what I'm making? Our children is your children. So it's already set up. Bottom line, that's your daycare system. That's your safe community. You feel what I'm making? All the children are our children. Ain't nobody got no monopoly on children. That's the community. But these other little religious Christian concepts, not going to work. They're not going to work for community. It doesn't work. It falls short. That's when we divorce. That's when we divorce those concepts. They don't work. Now you have a whole religious community of people, and you got Betty Shabazz. You see what I'm making? You got Tainetta Muhammad, which was one of Elijah Muhammad's wives. And she had to go and be with Farrakhan in the new nation. The resources that Dwarf D. Muhammad had being covered, you see what I'm making? That wife. Because it wasn't a nation. It was this my family, this your family. You understand what I'm making? That's why communism deals with the benefit of resources for all the people. Don't matter whose wife or whose husband you are, it doesn't matter. Everybody gonna eat, everybody gonna look good, everybody gonna learn what needs to be learned. You feel what I'm making? That's the bottom line. Outside of that, there's no reality. Because now it's asset issues. That's the minister family eat like this. The minister family go learn in Europe. You see how they get separated? Oh, their children get special schooling and private instructions, and the family over there get this, that, and the other. Let's get separated. We want all for one and one for all. Feel me? Everybody eat avocado. We eat avocado. Everybody eat avocado. We eat rice and beans. Everybody eat rice and beans. Our children learn Kemetic knowledge. All of our children learn Kemetic knowledge. Ain't no separation. Period. No separation in life. No separation after death. After death, you know what our system should do? Should ensure that all of our children get all those things sustained, even after we leave Earth. That's how the system should be set up on Earth. Now we can deal with religious systems when we leave here. Then let's set up our religious institutions. How we're going to be in heaven and all that. We can do that later. But in this life, we can just set up a system that ensures the resources for any individual who come here. If you only have a mom and daddy, you come into this system. Now you got 4 mamas in 5 days. Feel me? All children are the same. That's how it goes. You come in the community as a woman, you have no husband, you got 40 husbands. You know what I mean? You come in as a man, you got 50 wives. You come in as a child, you got 40 mothers, 40 fathers. That's a community. Outside of that, we pontificate and we intellectualize. Because none of those things are providing resources to change the condition of our community. The Muslims ain't done it, the Christians have not done it, the Buddhists have not done it. It's the same community. Why? Because their religious value systems don't take responsibility for the larger community. If you're not Buddhist, if you don't aspire to these religious beliefs, we have nothing for you. They don't see the problems of the community as their own. They see the saved souls that they can save. You feel me? And they take care of their little inner network. If you're a Muslim, you get this treatment. If you're not, you get that treatment. If you're a part of this church, we look out for you. If you're not a part of this church, we care less about you.
Deal with you.
Absolutely. So the new system has to change. We can't let those little religious concepts come in between us because they really don't exist. We all got to pull the slack up for one another all the time. Well, this person fall off, this person pick up. This person pick up, this person. You see what I mean? That relationship is always happening. Now, we can be egocentric to take credit for it as an individual, but it really ain't. Feel like, give an example. I'm out handing out information, distributing people. You securing this facility. You see what I'm making? You on security. You follow what I'm making? I'm out handling business. He might be secure. You see what I'm making? We all together. How's any of us doing everything? We're not. None of us is doing everything, and none of us is nobody outside of all of us. Because we're who we are because of how everyone's working together. You feel me? If the brothers hadn't reached for me, I wouldn't have DVDs. If I hadn't reached for brothers, other people wouldn't have DVDs. So who am I other than a cooperative projection of a cooperative community? Do you see what I'm making? That's all. That's the most power I have. Is that I'm centered in a cooperative community of people, and my growth is centered in the cooperation of those people with that happening. Outside of that, ain't nothing happening. If we hadn't got together and organized and brought resources together, we wouldn't be able to have reached 1,200 people last week with our DVD ministry. I could have did that by myself. Do you see what I'm making? Wouldn't happen. So if we can't depend on each other and have cooperative relationships with one another, the only way we got is the European. He's saying we don't have to work together. Because if we don't work together, then we can go to him for everything. You feel what I'm making? Don't cooperate. Y'all don't come together and build together. Just come on Friday and pick your check up. Don't speak to no black people.
Right.
Don't even, if you see them on your way on the bus or on your way to work, just stand next to them.
Turn your nose up.
And don't even speak to them, even though you've been waiting on the bus stop for an hour with them. Don't talk about nothing of value.
Judge.
Just
straight up.
You got it right, man.
Straight up. Down and judge them. He got this. Now he think that stuff because he got that. Straight up.
You got it. Because you got it down. Then go straight to work.
Yeah.
Don't communicate with, don't even talk to your people on the job. Because that'll get you fired. Don't talk to no black people on the job. Because that'll get you fired. All black people do is gossip. Y'all heard all of that. So my point is that that's their point, to keep us isolated and separated and afraid of each other. And just have a good relationship with him. He is a boss. He is a master. What I got to do today. And if you're not having a relationship with him, you may say, well, you know, I work for some black people. But no, you don't. Because if they're not producing and manufacturing the food, and they don't own the building, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You're not working for no black people. Because who gonna come around and get the rent?
Right.
But the landlord is just a better position. The reason it's so much of a better position is because the landlord, doesn't have to set up no corporation. He just lets you do all that and run all that, and he just come collect the rent money. So the landlord is even a better position. They're the ones who really depend on the field. Niggas to really be a step ahead of the game. Mm-hmm. So my point is that we got to stop having these, looking at each other as sinners. I mean, in reality, if that whole religion teaches that all of our people are sinners, how are we going to unify with some sinners, though? They let you know that with your brother, the flesh is strong. They already telling you this stuff. And so how are you going to organize with people that you really fundamentally believe are sinners? Really, how are you going to do it? You ain't going to want to. I don't want to unify with no sinners. Only place I'll be willing to unify with some sinners is at the church. Because it's a holy place. So there's some type of protection there. You feel me? But outside of the church, I'm not trying to deal with no sinners.
Right.
But if we stand in front of the pastor, that's why you need the pastor to get married. Because both you and the woman are sinners. And the only thing bringing y'all together is the holy pastor. He the only thing that can purify this thing. Because y'all filthy. You know what I'm saying?
What's up?
So he's going to sanctify this relationship because y'all full of filth. And if it was up to y'all, y'all would just be dying in sin. So come on. That's not that. This is how we are viewing one another. And if we constantly view each other like that, you'll see how far our nation building is going to get. It's not going to get nowhere. So it's not going to come through religion and Christianity and this. It's not going to come to that. Because even with Islam, it teaches, that we should love humanity as a whole. And you can go and ask a Muslim brother, which one is more your brother? The person of melanin or the person who is a Muslim? That's an Arab. And he will tell you that it's the person that's a Muslim is an Arab is really his brother. Mm-hmm. He will tell you that. And he is a true Sunni Muslim. He'll say that the person that looks like me is not my brother. Only the person who practices Islam is my brother. So come on. That means you're around all these people that aren't your brothers every day. And only some pale Arab is your brother. So that's how can we unify under that? Because the only thing that's going to save this Negro sinner is if he accepts Islam and become my brother, one of my real brothers. Otherwise, there's no hope for him. You know what I'm saying? That's why religion is saying no. Even with more science. They said, look, if you're not the parties, you're Negro, black, and colored. Our own people. You ain't can't be with us. You Negro, black, and colored. Look at all those Negro, black, and colored people out there. That sounds like a European talking. Seriously. Them all niggers, blacks, and colors because they haven't accepted their nationality. That's garbage. Those are all our divine people. We are what our forefathers are without doubt or contradiction. We are not Negro, black, and color and can never be that. Whether we have a nationality card or not. We're what our forefathers were. We are the ancient ones, whether we are nationality card or not. So if we see something other than divine people, then we now are practicing European supremacy on our own people. Drawing lines and making separations where they really don't exist. Because no one sees them but us. When the Europeans see us, whether you standing there with a fez on or whether you standing there with a turban on, he see the same person. Someone who either can stand and hold their own as a group, or some people that he can throw in the back of his paddy wagon. You feel me? Bottom line. So we need to galvanize the entirety of our people, but the religious doctrines won't let us do it. Because if you don't walk these rigid footsteps, we can't use you. But yet, on the 4th of July, all of our people celebrate the Independence Day of America. Now how do they do that? And it ain't even their independence. But we can't galvanize our people to do anything as a whole. Why? Because of the religious doctrines. If you don't run around the building and put on a bow tie and do this, that, and the other, you can't be with us. You see what I'm making? Those religions are too rigid for us to use people in the capacity of the Creator manifesting them. They're too rigid. We got to be able to use people where they're at. And some people are not going to put on a bow tie and run around the block. You know, they're not going to make all of those changes. But does that render them useless? No, because the European is using them every day. Whether they make those rigid adjustments or not. The European is finding a place for them. So to build a nation, we got to start finding a place for all of our people. Learning how to work with them wherever they're at to secure the interests of the whole. The people who are drug addicts and homeless, a lot of them got skills. We got to start making them carpenters, electricians. They got a lot of skills, plumbers. And start utilizing them from that perspective. Saying, okay, well, you got to get off crack and this, that, and the other. Well, maybe you don't. Maybe you still can do some plumbing and some carpenting and some electrical work. Do you see the point I'm making? And in the process of doing that, we can hit you with some information where you can decide to make that change if you want to. But your life and existence still benefited the nation as a whole. That's a whole new perspective. So we coming up out of the religious concept. You don't got to join this religion to be usable and to have some advantage from our community. You don't have to accept these rigid ideas. All you got to do is have some skills. All we got to do is be able to identify the good in people and how who they are can work with what we're doing. So they don't got to quote this and memorize this whole book and do all that. It'd take too long. It'd be 500 years before that happened. But doesn't mean every day, whatever they know, they're keeping the European going. They're keeping the European in power. So if they can keep him in power with whatever they're doing, then they can keep us in power. How we intelligently utilize what they're doing. And that's the new idea of nation building. So that's why we hit out information and just give it out. We're not trying, once again, to get people to join no religion movement or join no militantly organized entity. The only thing militant is the people who are truly involved. And there's no structure of militants. Just we're militant about these ideas that we have. And if you're militant, get online with us. If not, there's nothing militant about it. There's nobody going to be militantly knocking on your door to get you to do nothing. We don't even draw like that. We're not trying to create that type of organized structure. Because we want to see people who are self-motivated and self-activated. Yeah, but I'm going to take a break right now because I did want to give you those DVDs before you leave, sister. I can hold them for you.